We're back live and in direct. It's a Wednesday. It's the Florida Swing. It's the Honda Classic. Super excited. I got one of my good buddies here, Chief Joe of the Blayton Boys. Blayton Boys, good people there. But Chief, how you living tonight?
Hey, listen, if I was doing any better, it would be a sin. We're doing pretty good up here in the big bad city. I think we hit 62 on the old Fahrenheit today, so it was a beautiful day up here. I think we're actually getting a snowstorm tomorrow night, so that's how it's been. But can't complain. I'm happy that we're back to the East Coast here. I really couldn't take those West Coast, 11 o'clock start times. I need to be waking up with the Louis
Oh
withdrawal
yeah.
at 7 a.m. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, man. Thanks for having me on. Thanks, Jerz. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, well, gosh, it's kind of been one hell of a week, even though it's Wednesday. But Thursday's it's a little tease of the weekend, especially when the tournaments start. But I agree, East Coast guy myself, East Coast time zone, I guess we'll say. But yeah, wake up. There's golf on. There's nothing better than that. But just yeah, I appreciate you coming on. Looking forward to just getting after it this evening. I know I wanted to check in. We didn't get to talk much about it, but you got a wedding you're planning right now. You don't have to say when it is. You don't want to, but is it approaching or is it? I think is it next fall? Is that right?
Yeah, it's actually October of 2023. Yeah, so next
Nice.
October. Shout out to Ariel if you're watching, love you. Listen, we're looking forward to it. We got a big ass barn upstate that we booked out. Took a while to find it, but that's the trendy thing to do now. So hopefully it's worth the wait.
Yeah, I'll be kind of eagerly awaiting my invitation in the mail, going out to the box every day. Still hasn't come in yet, but I know it will.
Listen,
I
keep
know.
inviting me on. We'll get you an invite, no
All
doubt.
right, that's the incentive. That's the incentive. Well, good deal, man. Well, I do want to get your opinion. I know you're a big follower of golf. And actually, yours one of the. I don't care a lot about what people think about Phil and SGL, but I'll be interested to see just what you think about it all. I'm kind of putting you on the spot there. Yeah, overall initial thoughts. What do you think about it about everything?
Listen, I'm really happy that he, I guess, finally listened to his PR person and backtracked a little bit today. Came out with the apology and everything, but I was really disappointed, like everyone else, quite honestly. Uncle Phil, one of the original uncles, not the one from Fresh Prince, but of course Mickelson, uh,
Of
was
course.
really an idol of mine. It still is. I'll forgive him for this. I'm hoping it was just trying to maybe cover some financial issues or whatever it was. Maybe he was trying to strong arm the tour. I don't know. I heard Brando was breaking it down this morning on Golf Central, some of the things in Phil's past. But listen, I'm happy that he came to his senses. We'll see how it all folds out. Maybe it was just a power play. I don't know. But I'm glad to see that there a lot of guys now are kind of backtracking and realizing that, that's not a road I don't think anyone wants to go down, especially right now. So PGA Tour is the place to be. And I'm glad that they're all starting to realize that.
Yeah. Billy Walters fault. Yeah, no, hey, Kentucky boy, Billy W is a Kentucky boy. So Billy W,
Yeah.
Kentucky boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree, man. It's obviously I think Pat Perez spoke a little bit to it. There's some skeletons in the closet. There's some things going on with Phil. I think he's now moving in a good direction. Hopefully, working on himself. Not that it was anything too wrong, but yeah, I was disappointed too. But hopefully, this is all put to bed. But let's turn the page. We're being mindful. We're talking about the here and now. Now, overall thoughts on the Honda this week? You got any? How are you attacking the Honda? Yeah, what's on your mind?
I didn't realize. I thought we were going to break down Paulina's bachelorette party. We're doing Honda.
Yeah,
Oh
gosh,
shit.
yeah.
No, but yeah, listen, I love this event. Also, like shout out to the Bears, Briarcliff. This is one of our teams that we do up here in New York. Didn't have my dancing bear hat to wear. Got rid of that last night, but I wanted to show off.
At
Some
least you
love.
got the hoodie. At least you got the hoodie.
I'm actually schwitzing because I'll probably take this off pretty soon. But yeah, listen, Honda Classic is one of my favorite events of the year. Not just saying that because I'm on the show this week. It's an absolute
But
shit.
are you saying it because you're a kind of crowned honorary SEC grad, specifically Florida Gator?
Okay, well, yes, I have two cousins. that are actually at Gainesville right now. So shout out if they're listening. So I like them, but my team is a little north of that.
Yeah.
And I preview of next week. I'll get there's going to be a guy that I'll pick to win the API next week. That's a Georgia dog. So we'll get to that. But Honda Classic is great. I got to give normal shout out to my buddy Romeo the caddy. He was actually the one that just commented about Uncle Billy Walters. But him and my partner Mike, I couldn't go. They went down and played PGA National last year, right? Like I think like 2 weeks before the tournament, and pretty much confirmed what everyone's saying, that it's an absolute brute. Not as long, really. There's a lot of kind of forced layups, but there's so much danger. I've heard a lot of comps to 3M, and that makes sense to me with, of course, the water on I think 15 or 16 holes. But there's just it's going to be a shit show. It's going to be a total crapshoot. So I think there's some really good opportunities to get off some of the chalk. And if there was ever a week to do it, I mean, I think it's this one. So I'm excited to dive in. I can't wait for tomorrow morning.
Yeah, no kidding. And I haven't looked at the weather past last week, I don't think, or this week, I mean. And so one thing with the 3M, I've seen that comparison too, but the 3M, it's going to be different because they get so much rain up in Minnesota, or at least they have during the tournament, where it's so soft. Even if you come out of the rough, the golfers feel like they can attack the pin locations. Here with the wind, it's going to be a little bit drier, and the course isn't as long. But a lot of golfers choose to not take driver, go less than driver off the tee, which obviously makes the holes play longer. Because I was surprised at the average proximity from where approach shot. Going to be a lot of wedges into that. Or into some of these greens because of people are going to be conservative off the tee. So I thought that was interesting. We'll get a little wind. Looks like tomorrow afternoon might be a slight advantage to the AM PM wave, but it's wind, so take that with kind of a grain of salt. But I love these weeks. You get I'm just no shade on Honda. You're going to get a weaker field. This isn't the Genesis. We get a weaker field. Ownership goes haywire. We got a golfer who just went wire to wire last week in Neiman. That throws ownership around. We got a guy as Berger who's coming off an injury, unknown there. I like chaos. I want chaos. Usually it means good things in DFS if you're going about it in a specific way. Before we turn on the fan share board, anything on your mind as it just relates to Honda before we get after it?
No, I mean, I love FanShare. My yearly subscription's coming up. So, Lee, if you're listening, you want to hook me up, that would be great. But no, I always like looking at, obviously I'm not a huge strokes gain guy. I'm more of that old time baseball scout, just kind of going by my eyes and the gut, but it is a really good, I think you got to pull it up there. You can kind of see the few weeks back tracking, putting approach, all that, and kind of how they're trending each player, which is really good to see. Just to see who's striking the ball well. I mean, based on approach numbers, I guess we're going to have to get Russell Knox in every lineup.
Yeah,
but
right.
I mean, I'm actually going to completely fade him, but we'll get to him, I guess, down the board a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think that there's a few guys for me this week personally. I am a little more course history than some others, and I just think I want to go with the guys that are at least in decent form, but make the cut here often, and especially are going to be familiar with that nice East Coast Bermuda, because I think it's a huge difference. There's a few guys particularly that maybe didn't play so great on the West Coast. I'm going to pretty much write it off. If they have a pretty good track record in the Southeast, that's what I'm gravitating towards this week.
I like that you said that, because I take a different route. I'm not holding much into course history this week at all, because there's so many doubles or worse that can happen on this course, just with all the water and danger around. And so I would just imagine, and I haven't really looked into this. It's just a belief, it's just an opinion that, yeah, maybe course history matters less here because of the danger. Because a golfer could play great, make one bad swing, make a double, drops them from outside the top 10 into the top 20, and someone going through there says, gosh, no top 10, just one top 20. Well, one better swing may have saved them, and sort of that situational. But yeah, I'm not holding much stock into course history. Yeah, it matters some, but maybe not as much as we're talking about like Hilton Head or the Sony Open, which is kind of a good comp. Well, let's get your opinion, and I value it, I respect it, I love it. The top of the board, obviously, each week you got to get it right. I mean, that's so important because this is where ownership is condensed. This is where the salary is for the majority of the players. So the 9K range, that's obviously M all the way down to our boy, the Aussie Matt Jones, last year's winner. Who are you playing and not playing in the 9K and above range?
All right, so I mean, I got a lot to say up here. I'll try to keep it simple. Starting at the top, I mean, Sungjae is about as auto T15 as you can get. We'll just leave it at that. I don't think he wins again just for the variability of this course, as you mentioned. And I do think a little more of that is if it was windier, it can get windy. I've been tracking it. I mean, I'm seeing 10 gusts up to 15, so I'm not going nuts with it. I'm usually not a major wind or rain guy myself anyway. So say it's relatively normal weather for Florida. I think Sungjae is just, you got to sprinkle, pepper, dare I say hammer. But I don't think he wins it again just because of, again, there is so much inconsistency with the scoring at this place. It's a great chance for Louis to finally break through and get the PGA win that he's been so close to cracking for a long time. So that makes a lot of sense. No one's going to play Neiman. I get he's a Jupiter guy. I'm still not playing him. Yes, it makes sense from a contrarian aspect, but just a lot. He's still young. I know he's well beyond his years at 23, but that was an amazing performance. No reason he can't do it again this week. Prefer him on bent though, and I do prefer him on the West Coast type of tracks, BMW, those sort of.
Can I stop you right there? I hard hitting. I mean, this might be the most important piece of this week DFS wise is, and you have a good read on tour. I mean, you follow one of the best that I know. What did Neiman, Ortiz, Vegas, Mito, and Sergio all do in LA after the Genesis?
I know that a few of them were staying together and they were getting lunch every day, but I don't know what did they do? Where did they hit Spago or something?
I don't know, but if we have in LA, anybody in LA, I used to live out there, and there's this one Cuban bar. I know they're not Cuban, whatever, give it luck. But there's this one Cuban bar called La Descarga that was just incredible. You walk down the steps and it's a bar, then you go in this back room and it's like this cigar lounge, and it's so sick. And that's the type of a place I feel like they would hang out. But when I went there, I know we're getting off subject, but it was a total rook and had a cigar, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing is incredible. And sure, I'm sipping bourbon, Kentucky boy, you get the bourbon going. And I'm like, all right, I got to get another cigar. And you had two within like 30 minutes, bad reaction. But yeah, I would just, I appreciate, I kind of think actually Neiman winning will open the door for Mito. We'll get there. But actually, this is a better course, I think, fit wise for Neiman. But yeah, he said that it felt like almost a month went by for those 4 rounds when he went wire to wire. Yeah, I'm not playing on. I'm like you. I cut you off. I wanted to get your opinion on what happened with him in LA. But finish up. I'll hang up and listen. Carry on.
Listen, it's just about how much time we have, because I could talk for hours about this shit. But I'll just I'll try to pepper it really quickly for you guys. Berger, I'm loving. The more I think about it, I heard him in an interview. He said he was really fine. Waste management, just didn't have enough time to practice, I think was the case. But I think he's healed now. Now, Brooksy's a different story. Got to give a shout out to Joey I. He brought up a really good point in the preferred lines this week. Apparently, he hit a bunker shot and the knee went a little gimpy afterwards. His driving distance went down significantly. The rest of that 9. I don't know what's going on with Brooks. Listen, we never really know what's going on with him. Is Jenna upset she didn't get the invite to the Bachelorette? I don't know. I cannot confirm nor deny. But listen, Brooks and Jupiter on Bermuda, I mean, if he's at least 75%, I see him winning a tournament before the Masters. I don't know which one it is. Could be this week. I think you got to sprinkle him just a little bit. But 2 guys below him, actually 3 out of 4. I'm not playing Shane Lowry, the Irish Bear, coincidentally, not playing him.
That's a mistake. We'll get to him in a second.
I mean, listen, he's played here 4 times, hasn't broken the top 20, and he plays at the Bears Club right down the street. I like him. I root for him. I like him in the wind. Seems like a fun guy to hang out with. I know he's contrarian. Just not for me. I'm hammering Billy Ho. We'll break it out. I mean, let's get serious. I know he's going to be 25% owned. I don't care. I'm going heavily overweight. It's about time he won in Florida. And I'll tell you what, Tommy Fleetwood is one of my dudes. Love him. Worst finish of fourth here on 2 attempts. I remember watching him put it in the water on 18. I think that was the year Sung Jae won. Just he's been so close for so long. Him or Louis, this is probably the best chance they're going to get to break through in a weak field and just get that PGA Tour win off their back. So I like them a lot, and I like what you wrote about Noren in Game Theory this week. Usually I'm not a Noren guy, but again, another guy lost to JT and Luke List, I think 4 years ago here. Really good end of the tournament. I remember watching that, and he's been close for a while now. He's a real grinder. He's been playing well. He looked pretty good on the West Coast. Irons are hit or miss. That scares me a little bit, but he's really good inside of 10 feet. And I think he's going to be lurking come Sunday, unless something weird happens. He gets a bad draw or something. But I think Noren, Billy Ho, and I'm a sucker for Tommy. So I like him. I'm playing Keith Mitchell, but he's the guy that Mad Dog Mitchell. I'm waiting next week. I think he's going every lineup. I think he's going to win the API as long as he's at least healthier in the field. Part of me kind of misses the cut this week just to get some people off him, but he fits there so well. Obviously, he won the Honda, so it makes a lot of sense this week. But he's ready to win again soon, so I'm going to be on him. But for top tier, I'd say Billy Ho, Noren, and I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent on the 10K range, so I'll be in the 9s quite a bit.
Yeah, well, I hope Keith Kitchell does not miss the cut this week. Killer Keith obviously won here. He is one of my favorite plays this week. I wrote him up on several different places. One of the most consistent golfers off the tee. I think it's something silly like he's gained strokes off the tee and like over 8 straight tournaments, coming in with a couple top 15s. Really like him. But let me get to your boy Billy Ho. I think it's on brand that you love Billy this week.
Come on.
I do not, because at first I have my bias. I respect the guy as a human, but the type of twitchy golf is not for me. But let me just preach to you a little bit about Billy Ho.
He is hard to watch. You have to have some Pepto nearby to watch him putt. But I mean, the feet jittering, it's up there with Cantlay. But I don't know. Maybe it's because he looks like Christian Bale, but I don't know. I like watching him play. When he won WGC in Austin, he was just saying like, F this, I'm taking down everyone. I wouldn't be shocked if he won a major before it's all said and done, to be quite honest with you. But I mean, I'll listen. I get it this week. It's if you want to fade him, do it at your own risk. It makes too much sense to me.
And so I know you're not a strokes gained guy, so let me throw a couple strokes gains at him. In the last 4 tournaments, he's only gained strokes on approach once. That was last week. He did finish 6th last week, but man, he's been doing it with the putter. And I personally believe there's so much variance in putting. It's hard to sustain that. He's gained over 5 strokes putting in his last 2 tournaments. At the Farmers, he finished 11th, and I can't make sense how he did it. He lost strokes tee to green. He lost strokes off the tee, lost strokes on approach. But gained 5.3 putting, kind of saved him. And again, strokes gain data isn't the tell-all. It's just one small metric. So I know I respect you, and like you don't really buy too much into it, and that's probably a good thing. But that's just what the data says. So I'm fading him. But I love Shane Lowry. Yeah, he's played here 4 times, and you said hasn't finished better than 20 something. Also 4 made cuts here though. Plays well in kind of comp courses. I'm relating that to Harbortown, a little bit of a comp course, while Harbortown doesn't have the water that we know, except on the par 3 16th, a couple of the other par 3s, and then 18. But you have to hit it in the right places at Harbortown, similar to here. And there's 4 slay-ups there. He has a good course history there. He's kills it kind of in green irregulation. He kills it scrambling, can be accurate off the tee. But really, it's the ownership number on him. He's under 10%. I love him right there. A great pivot off Billy. Yeah, Noren. But I love your Tommy call. Really, really high on that. Has obviously great course history here. Berger, I'm surprised his ownership is up to 21. I thought it might be around 15 to 20 because of the injury scare, but no way. If Berger is coming in off a made cut, like a top 15 or top 20, and there's no injury concerns, Berger is the highest owned guy. But yet we got Billy Ho, Louis and him. Everyone's talking about him. We don't need to get there. But Matt Jones, I want to talk about. because Matt Jones won me $25K last year on
Oh,
top of Chase Seifert and Steele. Adam Scott was in that lineup. Stuart Sink. It was a showdown lineup. Won me 25K. So there's some good memories here. But Matt Jones.
You may owe him a case of Kentucky's finest there, Rob.
That's right. That's Matt Jones is one of the streakiest golfers on tour. If you just look at his results and strokes gained data, it's amazing how he still has his card. He just peaks at crazy times, and so he loses strokes on approach so much more than he gains. He loses strokes off the tee kind of more than he gains for the most part. What he does so well is around the green game, but he's streaky. He's like Steph Curry. I mean, actually, that's a terrible analogy. Steph Curry's great, one of the best. But point being, he can get hot or he can get cold. He was very hot the Genesis, 5.1 on approach. But don't buy in. I think at 9K is a terrible number on Matt Jones. Still at 8% maybe, but I'm staying away. Let's move on.
Listen,
go ahead.
I'll pepper a couple here. I'm running away from Matt Jones at that price, but I think he's a great player. Just not gonna do it twice here at a course like this. What he did last year was kind of a fluke. I mean, he went really low at Century, obviously a few weeks back, but we got to talk about Mito, man. We got
to preach us, baby, preach us.
Listen, great player. Cousin Guillermo is on the verge of entering the tree, but not touching him with a 10-foot pole this week. Personally, I don't think so. You mentioned before about Billy Ho potentially gaining too many strokes to be comfortable. The thing with that is he's gaining them on POA. I can't wait to see what he does on Bermuda. Mito gaining strokes putting. Again, questionable. First timers here, I'm fading hard for the most part this week. I think he's got a great future ahead of him. Obviously, the Chilean brethren narrative is strongly in play. But from what I've seen, High Own, Tout's got the first article every week. I love reading it. He was basically picked him to win. I think a lot of people jumped on after that. And I wouldn't be shocked if he did contend the way he's playing right now. But I want guys that at least know their way around this track. And I'm not going to ride a hot putter on Mito this week at 8,900. I'm not doing it. I mean, it could be totally wrong, but that's just the way I'm feeling.
Yeah, I feel the same way with you, but I've bought in. Unfortunately, maybe it's my own bias. Bought into the upside. We know he had the 3-win kind of promotion from the Korn Ferry Tour. Again, played well last week with 2 missed cuts coming into that. I mean, not hitting the ball, but it's just an upside play. Maybe it's a fear missing out play. I'm kind of matching the field on Mito, but I agree. What about our boy Andy Lack? I think is on highly of Patrick Reed, which great play ownership wise, but on a course with a lot of water and his driver's been leaky. I don't know. What are you thinking about the Reedster?
All right. So ex-Captain America. I mean, I actually think it's warranted from just strictly an ownership basis. I did my normal 20 lineups, and then I woke up this morning and for some reason DK gave me an extra $20, I guess, just for being a raving degenerate. So I threw that in the $20, and nice. I have Reed in that lineup along with Noren and a couple other lower owned guys. And I mean, a player of his ilk, a guy that has his skills around and on the green, it just kind of takes one tweak on the range leading up to this to fix whatever the hell is going on with him. Something is wrong with him. And if he keeps striking the ball like he's been, PXG might be out of business by that point. So I think it definitely makes sense from an ownership standpoint, just to sprinkle a little of Patrick Reed in your life. I'm going to be pretty heavy on the Harmonator. I got to be honest with you, 87.
Yeah, me too.
And that was really the first guy that Andy mentioned in his Sunday preview, and I got to agree with him. Saw him almost win the freaking Players last year. Just, again, East Coast Bermuda. Just you have to play some of these guys. You got to play Harmon. It would make sense to play Cam Young, a Demon Deacon, going back to the East Coast after what he did last week. His dad's a pro up at Sleepy Hollow, and I love rooting for this kid. I think he's great for the game. But 8,600, I know he won the junior here, but I just some of these guys that went 4 rounds at Riv, that takes a lot out of you. Flying back across,
no doubt.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be light on those guys. I want the guys that either had a week off and didn't have to face that sort of test last week, or just comfortable in the Southeast. The Chris Kirks of the world, Harmonator, my normal Georgia dogs that are back on their home turf. I like them a lot this week. So I'm going to be off some of these other guys that maybe have had recent success out west. This sort of Bermuda and this sort of test, is for the experienced only, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to just touch and just validate your Harman selection. I love it. Harman's one of those golfers that you can identify with this trend progression on how he's playing. So, for example, when he plays bad, he plays bad. And when he plays good, he plays good. And that might seem like idiotic statement, but to give you an example, between the St. Jude last August and the Sony Open here recently, he lost strokes on approach and almost off the tee in the 8 straight or 9 straight tournaments that fell between there. Then something happened at the Amex where he finished third, played better. Pebble Beach played better than his 65th place finish, and then the Phoenix finished 14th and gained strokes on almost every single metric except for putting. This is a Brian Harman course, and he's kind of trending in the direction that we'd want to see. He's out of that spell of losing strokes almost on everything that he was in. And when he gets hot, like to give you an example, between the Sanderson Farms in 20 and all the way up to the Sony Open in last year, he gained strokes on approach and then off the tee in those like 6 straight tournaments consecutively. So Harman gets on runs, and when he's bad, he's bad. He's good, he's good. It looks like he just turned the corner to be good. So I'm expecting a run of tournaments where Harman is going to play well, including now. Players played well here last year. I mean, I love that call. I'm not. Everyone's always highly on Wise. Wise is a perennial 7K. I'm gonna say high to mid 7K golfer. His salary is $1,700 higher in this weaker field than it was last time. Wise, I think, is constantly overrated. I just lost my shit there.
You're not a wise man. I mean, you are a wise gentleman. You are not a fan of Wise. I know that.
Well, when he's 9K or high 8K and he's 20 to 30% owned, no, I'm not. But I see a great tee to green game, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I am not a Wise man either. I probably prefer Johnny V, but I got to say, Sir Ben Coley, the GOAT, in my opinion, of previews, gave him a pretty nice write-up. Had 264s here last year. Again, not a Wise guy myself. I think it's just about the top end of what I'd pay for him. But I'm going to my cousin north of the border this week. Mac Hughes, baby. I got the outright in Augusta. I'm hoping for Danny Willett part 2 on him, but
the Canadian Jordan Spieth.
Yo, I'll tell you what, Mac Hughes. I've never seen a putter like this when he gets hot. I mean, other than Spieth, but and Richie Orensky, we'll get to him in a little bit. But Mac Hughes was right there with Sungjae till the very end here a few years back. I vividly remember that he hit a bomb on 17, I think. And I don't know. I like his game. I think overall he's in for a big year. And I'm gonna, in terms of, if you're telling me that cousin Russell Knox, Romeo's cousin, not mine, from Scotland, is going to be upwards of 17 to 20%. I mean, I'm sorry. He doesn't do it on the greens. He does not do it with the flat stick enough for me. If he catches a hot putter this week with his approach numbers, God bless him. I've seen it enough. I'm not going back to the well with him. I'm going to sprinkle Big Gary Woodland, and I'm going to sprinkle the Bez. Bez is the only guy that doesn't have experience here that I'm playing because he's too damn good on Bermuda. We saw what he did at the Players.
On Bermuda. Yeah.
Dude, the COVID Bermuda that him and Hideki, Hideki was 9 under at Sawgrass, and he was 7 under, I think, in that first round. They got canceled. I mean, Bez, hard courses, we saw what he did at Kiowa. I think Bez really fits here despite the lack of experience. That's the only thing that worries me. And then there's a few family members that are coming up here. I don't know. You want to hit anybody low 8s, and then I'm going to go heavy into high 7s here because I think there's a few gold mines in here.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of Doja down there. I'm playing Russell Knox, strokes gain guy. Got to go with him. Decent course history, played well here. I'm really high on Taylor Moore, high 7K range. He reminds me of a poor man's version of Killer Keith. Very consistent off the tee. He can get it done. Southeast SEC boy, University of Arkansas, a Razorback. Like Taylor Moore, trending well. Is early in his PGA Tour career, so we don't have a lot of back class on him. But I like how he's playing, and you get on only at 8%, and so not a big ask ownership wise. Like the Woodland call, I think he's played. This is his 9th or 10th start here, and he's never missed a cut. And so Woodland is finding something. How great would it be to find something in a place you're very familiar with? I'm surprised you didn't mention our boy, the Panimal, coming in at 7% up.
Whoa, easy now. He was the Monday misprice. We're getting to him. I didn't want to. This is the. Let me just get the hammer ready here. Let me
please.
Okay. All right. I'll just go off here for a quick minute.
Preach it.
Uncle Ryan Palmer, I have an affinity for this guy. He has to be sprinkled at this course. He played like shit on the West Coast. I don't care. He's back where he's comfortable. Taylor Moore is a great player. He's actually my last man out of my core this week. I can't wait to pepper him when we get to the Texas swing and those places, but he definitely warrants a play. Cousin Denny McCarthy, I'm sorry. This guy I couldn't take for years. Killed me off the tee, everything else. Romeo, I will say it was his firstborn son along with Thomas Peters. But 7,800, Denny is fucking juiced for this tournament. He was hitting it hard on Instagram in the gym a week ago getting ready for this. I think this is his week. You can hear the excitement in my voice. If he fucks up, he fucks up. But Denny at 7,800, it's impossible for him to be priced over 8. I think he's got 5 T15s in the last 3 months. That's pretty impressive for any player. Coming back to Jupiter area, Bermuda, the whole 9 yards. Give me all the Denny. And I was this close to throwing him off the family tree. But Uncle Lee is back. I don't give a shit. We're in the Florida state. He lives across the street. He's played this course a million times. I see him on the Peloton every morning. He looks great. And I'm ready. You remember last year that's when we started Who's Your Caddy? It was really during the Florida swing last year. Mm-hmm. And Uncle Lee was our first uncle. And I'm sorry, I'm going back to the well with him right here. I just can't have enough of it. Good track record here, 7,800. Again, we're in a field where like anything could happen. You got to sprinkle a little bit. If I'm going to get Uncle Lee at like 7-8%, load me up. I don't care. I'm in for the pain. But KH and the Panimal, both of them really solid tee to green. CT Pan was lurking last week a little bit, and he was third here last year. Could be a little too good to be true. I don't know. Again, you don't know with this course. Anything could go haywire with one shot. But KH Lee is just a phenomenal all-around player in pretty much every facet of the game. He makes like every cut. So those 4 guys, Denny, Uncle Lee, KH Lee, and the Panimal, really like them a lot. And then outside of Chris Kirk and Grayson, actually, no, I love this range. This is why I came up with Monday misprices, is because this range is the bread and butter range. There's so many guys you can make a case for here. I don't know how far down you want to go, but like Chris Kirk, Bermuda Boys Club chairman, like that ridiculous record in the Southeast. We love him.
It is highly owned, surprising. He's the highest owned in this range. I'm still playing on though too, but yeah, almost 15%.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Well, let me just say one name. Now I'll let you continue. Well, first I gotta ask 2 things. But first, I just gotta hype up the Gym Rat, the Golden Goose, the before and after. Michael Thompson, the Alabama grad, very high on him, high on his game. It's gonna be a big. I know he won the 3M 2 years ago. Big year for Michael Thompson. Highly on him. But let me ask you this: were you when you were talking about Denny? Are you a Peloton guy? Are you a Peloton man?
No, I don't. I actually don't have. But I keep seeing him on Instagram, and he's just going ham. He's got the freaking beanie on every morning, and like he's getting after it. I got.
He's getting after it. Good.
He's at the point in his career where he could just say, "I'm done with it. Listen, I'm gonna bet him at the Masters again. I don't care." I just have a feeling like, wouldn't it be great if the 150th Open went to Uncle Lee? Come on now. Like, I just think he's been so close it's almost that time where I'm gonna have to start going back to 86 and watching all the Masters every week through to Augusta. And he's been there so many times. Like it's just he's gonna get the right side of the luck one time, sort of how Louis did. I mean, Louis already got it once, but Louis should have 2 or 3 by now at this point. So I think Uncle Lee is just maybe it won't be. Maybe it'll be the players. I mean, he went last year. He went runner up to Bryson. I mean, pretty unlucky he didn't win that, honestly, at Bay Hill. And then he goes into the players and gets stoked by JT. I mean, he has some good karma coming towards him. Although he may have lit that on fire with the whole Saudi thing. But that, I mean, I hope we can just get past that because I'm still going to pull for Lee, and I think he's got one more big win left in him.
Well, you got to pull for your family, man. You're kind of family first. I respect that about you. I'm just going to say one name in the 7K range before I let you finish. And unfortunately, he's getting popular. But that's Aaron Rai. He's projected right under at 10%. I think that's going to be a little higher. Unfortunately, guy led the European Tour before it was the DP Worlds in driving accuracy. Not led. He was in top 10 for 2 consecutive years. We want driving accuracy this week, especially. We want to avoid the big number. That's Aaron Rai. That's probably why he's so popular. So wild to me is that Lucas Glover is one of the highest owned in this range. Not even great course history and not even great form, the Clemson grad. That doesn't make sense to me. But I do just want to say, Ricky Fowler, keep an eye on him this week. Changing the putter, I think I saw. Keep an eye on him. Charles Howell, too. Ball striking guy, we know what he is. 7,300 at 7%. Look out for CH3. But I'll let you finish up this 7K range before we get into your sicko range.
All right, so a few things. I'm not going down the Aaron Rai path. Just can't do it with the 2 gloves. I mean, once Peyton threw on 2 gloves, I wasn't having it. He really didn't deserve that. Well, and listen, the only other guy that wore 2 gloves we can't really talk about. But you know, I mean, I'm not going down that route. Garrick Higo is kind of the route that I'm going down. 7,300, won at Palmetto last year. Really nice young player out of South Africa. I'm going with the Austrian Bulldog, Sepp. 14th at Riv, no business even contending at Riv, comes back to his nice Bermuda turf. That's kind of the trend I'm looking for. Mentioned
good first round leader play maybe too with the Sepp shirt.
Oh, Sepp loves going nice 7 under on a Thursday for no reason. I love him there. I might sprinkle a little Camilo if I'm feeling naughty tonight. We'll see, but maybe not. I don't know. Sam Ryder, absolutely filleted fish a few weeks back when I touted him heavily and he killed me. And then he came back and had 2 T20s, and now he's coming back. Stetson University guy, so he's familiar with the area. And I gotta say, your boy Zeej, you saw it today, right? Named Ryder Cup captain 23.
Yeah. Good for him. And actually, I don't like ZJ, but I respect him. I tell you what, when he had that 3-hole playoff with Mark Leishman, I think it was, in Jason Day, I had a lineup in one of the big contests. It was winning like 30 grand, and I didn't have Zach Johnson, but with Leishman was one of my highest owned guys. I think it was Jason Day. I had Leishman, Jason Day, and a couple of guys in the top 10, and I was like in 30 grand with it in the playoff. And then when Zach Johnson won, it like took me down to 600. So I have a sour spot for the Drake University grad, but I respect him. I respect what he's done, and good for him to be a captain.
That was that at the Open? Was that at St. Andrews we were talking about?
Yeah.
That was the first lineup I hit. That was the first hit with Zeej.
Fuck you.
Like 1,000 or 1,500. That was when I just started. That was like 6 or 7 years ago now, probably.
Yeah, showing her age.
Memories of that tournament. I mean, I don't know. We're kind of entering sicko range. Hudson Swafford,
perfect.
Another dog I like.
Trending well is Hudson is.
Yeah, he's probably not going to win again this year, but I mean, I like him. He's a solid player. I mean, Svensson, a lot of people are on. Danny Willett, another OG from the old days of Mayo and Big Jeff. I mean, I like to sprinkle him if it's really windy. I don't know. Doc Redman, I actually like a lot. Romeo's on pretty heavily. Mentioned him in Hump Day Hammers. Just like another guy. I'm kind of keying on guys that struck the ball well out west and then are coming back to their native turf of Bermuda. and Doc is one of those guys. So I really like him. Clemson product, U.S. Amateur winner. I mean, it's got a really nice resume already. Just kind of up and down early career so far, which we see with a lot of these young kids. So, I mean, I'm gonna sprinkle him. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Hubbard may have to get a light sprinkling after that 62 last week. He was lurking a little bit. I mean, JTP, my namesake, I got to go with the postman just a little bit. He looked really good at Waste Management. Again, same theme. Guys that play well out west. That was Bermuda, but still coming back east. Kind of like it.
Shout out to his caddy, Aaron Fleener, a Kentucky boy, big Kentucky fan. UK plays the Tigers, LSU tonight, so go Cats. Well, let me just – I have actually 3 golfers, or 4, I should say, I love in the Sicko range. They're actually some of my highest owned in my player pool. First is the Cock, Matthew Neesmith, a South Carolina grad. Can ball strike the course to death. Not a great putter, but in a course that we need ball striking, I really like it. I like one of the hottest golfers in strokes gained data that's in the 6K range, and that's Austin Smotherman. You won't find, if you're looking at strokes gained data, you won't find someone in this range who's hitting the ball better than Austin Smotherman. I'm a little worried he's already peaked, but SMU grad is right there. Nick Watney, good guy Watney, the old man on the tour, one of the highest earnings player that's still playing consistently on tour. Nick Watney has kind of found some form here of late. I like him here. Can kind of be consistent, can get around the course well, less than 1% owned maybe. And then the other is Ryan Armour, who I was really surprised to see playing well in his last 2 tournaments. Tee to green, on approach, pretty consistent. Old man Armour, the Buckeye, I think can kind of plot it around this course, avoid the big number, and at 6,600 can make the weekend and get you 6 and you're cooking then comes Saturday. So those are my Sicko range players. Who else you got in this range?
Okay, a few more here. Some you mentioned already. I will say that I'm gonna have to sprinkle a little bit of Bobby Streb. Loves a good gust of wind for whatever reason. 13th year last year. You know, I was on him in the desert. I think I have to get back on him just a little bit. Nick Watney, I'm not making this up. My brother, shout out Matty P, texted me on Monday morning. He said Nick Watney is winning this week. I had a dream about it. Okay,
I would love it.
We're going with the random premonition, but I don't think he's missed a cut here. Knock on wood so far. And he's had flashes out west. So Nick Watney, I think you may have to sprinkle him. Hayden Buckley is a really nice player, familiar with that Bermuda turf, Fort Myers guy. So I like him. I don't know who else. I mean, there's some of the old stalwarts, Patty, Luke Donald. I don't know, maybe Duff Daddy, 1 or 2 lineups, Herminator. But last guy, I'm like, again, I wrote it in missed prices. I said you got to have an iron gut to pull this off. He's playing like absolute dog shit. But Richie Werenski, careful. If he catches a hot putter, Jupiter guy, back home, back where he feels comfortable. We've seen him lurk. I mean, just again, a light sprinkling, not saying likelihood is he misses the cut. But in a week like this, you got to have a couple of these guys down here. It's a great week to go stars and scrubs. And I just think guys that have a Jupiter or mid-North Florida base, or really it doesn't matter. Any part of Florida, really, or even Georgia. I love those guys here. They probably play this course a real ton, even in practice, amateur days, junior days. I think that gives them a big advantage, even with the variables of the wind and the water and everything else. I just want guys that are familiar on that Bermuda turf, that they grew up playing on.
I love it. And I like the Richie Rich call. It wasn't on my radar, but I mean, a guy we've seen before. Was it at the John Deere? I might be getting him confused with somebody else. I think it was the John Deere where he was in contention going into Sunday, but probably wrong. That might be somebody else. But anyway, I like that call. But Chief, you're good people. Joe, I appreciate you coming on tonight. I know we went a little long than we thought, but I thought we were on a roll. I mean, we were cruising, and hopefully we kind of can cash a big ticket this week. And for the people listening, that's what obviously we hope is that you do what you need to do. You cash the ticket, you make money, but we appreciate you being on. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate, what you do for the community. But Joe, before I let you go, we put this to bed. Anything else before we, wrap it up here tonight?
Yeah, man. Listen, I really appreciate you having me on. Again, we're just doing this for fun. You know, we're not experts in any regard. We just love golf. We love playing fantasy. And it's nice that you give a voice to some other people in the community, whether it be me, you know, Scotty, whoever else that you have on the show, just a little bit of a different perspective. Obviously, we try to bring a little humor to it. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. No one's going to be a complete expert with this. That's why Vegas exists, you know, but you can do your best. And if you love the game, man, just honestly, just throw in $20 lineups, whatever your budget is, it doesn't matter. It's just about having fun and enjoying golf, man. And it's one of the best sports, if not the best sport, to play and watch. So I hope everyone is enjoying it, not taking it too seriously. And listen, just takes one guy, just takes one Richie Orensky, and you're cooking. So hopefully we find that guy this week, or if not, very soon.
That's right, man. Well said. Well said. Don't take it too seriously. It's one thing I really appreciate about this is meeting people like you and the whole kind of the Blatant Boys and everybody that we kind of collaborate with. It's a special group. Unfortunately, when we take it too seriously, it's gets like hyper competitive and it gets kind of just weird. But you guys are good people. I appreciate you letting me be spending time with you this Wednesday. But yeah, it just takes one Richie Rich to take down a GPP and turn into something fun and to making a memory. So let's make a memory this week. I hope you all cash your outrights or your bets if you're playing them, but definitely hope to see you in the green on the leaderboard. So good luck, everybody. Take it easy. We'll see you next week.
BOL.
That's right.